The crypto space has gotten absolutely decimated over the past few weeks. In the wake of the insane FTX blowup, billions upon billions of dollars have been completely erased from the crypto space. Dozens of major crypto funds are completely insolvent. Big lending companies like BlockFi are going out of business. And most cryptocurrencies are at multi-year lows. Everywhere you look, it really feels like it's over. And in this video, I really want to cut through the hysteria and talk about the truth of the current state of crypto and how there's actually a bright light on the horizon in the wake of all these events, as hard as that might be to believe. I'm going to break all that down in this video today as a blockchain developer myself who's been through multiple cycles in crypto and what you can look out for in the future and some lessons that can be learned. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish, then definitely head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so let's talk about the current state of the crypto space. I'm going to hit this from pretty much every angle. The crypto markets themselves, the technology, the crypto industry, and also the job market. And I want to give you a little bit more about my background and why I'm talking about this and thinking about it very differently from most people in case you are brand new to this channel or you haven't been paying that close attention over the past year and a half or so. So again, I got in the crypto space in 2017 and became a blockchain developer and ridden through multiple cycles. And during the last cycle in particular, I really steered clear from a lot of things that have gotten us in trouble that we're seeing today. For example, I always told people to be very cautious about keeping their funds on centralized cryptocurrency exchanges. I never promoted referral links to any of these exchanges like FTX that blew up. And I also steer clear of sponsorships from any of these crypto lending services like BlockFi. I was actually approached by BlockFi and spoke with one of their representatives, but I completely turned it down because they couldn't give me a good answer as to why those funds were safe and how those returns could be so good. And I've always been a huge proponent of the Ethereum technology, self-custody, and the old adage of not your keys, not your crypto. So now none of this is to say I told you so. I don't want to be insensitive to anybody who lost money in any of these ventures, but I do want to stress that I've been consistent throughout this entire message, throughout this entire time in case you're brand new, and how I think those exact same values can be highly instrumental into making it in the future. So let's talk about this from multiple angles. Okay, let's first talk about the crypto markets. So again, it does feel like it's over, air quotes. If you look at pretty much every single cryptocurrency is at multi-year lows. Social sentiment across crypto Twitter looks like it's at all-time lows. So what are my thoughts on this? So this is where I started thinking opposite from most people and that there actually is some opportunity ahead of us in the future. So if you look at major assets like Bitcoin have a very long price history across multiple cycles, okay? There's actually a bright spot on the horizon because there's, upside in terms of the price history. There's not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy any cryptocurrency based on this information, but there's a lot of smart people who are playing long-term games that see that there's at least a 4x upside in Bitcoin with actual price history based upon the last market. So basically, if Bitcoin's ever going to reach its all-time high again, if you buy Bitcoin now, although I'm not saying you should do that, then you're going to get a 4x return. And that's huge because that means Bitcoin doesn't even have to make new all-time highs. It just has to go back to a number that we've actually seen before. And even then, if you needed to get your money out earlier, there's many, many, many months and even years of price history that's at least twice as much as what the current value is. And if you also take things like social sentiment into account, when everybody is totally bearish on this space, when a lot of the downside has probably already been absorbed, this very well could be a case of being, bearish at the bottom, in which case, I would personally use that as a counter indicator from what everyone else is thinking. But now let's talk about the actual timelines. So let's just take the assumption that crypto's a lot closer to a bottom and maybe even has already bottomed in the wake of everything that's just happened. That doesn't necessarily mean it's just going to rip roar back to all-time highs, okay? And my stance here is that the future really belongs to people who are playing long-term games. And that's always been true for pretty much everything, especially with crypto right now. So I do think that this is a situation where anybody who's in quality assets right now, who has a multi-year time horizon, is probably going to be happy that they were patient a few years down the road. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be an easy ride forward, okay? Even if we are at lows right now, it doesn't mean that we couldn't revisit those lows and shake a lot of people off along the way. We saw that in the last market, right? Things, bottomed around December of 2018. We revisited those lows again, and then we saw pretty close to the same lows just a couple years later in March of 2020 before we ultimately had the next parabolic bull run. All right, so those are my thoughts on the actual crypto market itself, but let's talk about the technology and also the job market, because if you've watched this channel, you always know that my stance is the best way to make life-changing money in the crypto space is to actually invest in yourself and learn the technical skills and reap the opportunity of becoming a blockchain developer or just working in the crypto industry. Because, my general rule of thumb is if you don't have enough money to put down a down payment on a house wherever you live, then probably the best bet that you can make is investing in your own skills to change your current situation and increase your income. And there's a huge opportunity in that with blockchain technology. So let's talk about some of that. All right, so certain aspects of this technology have actually started to shine among everything that's happened, okay? And some value propositions have actually gotten a lot stronger. So like I was saying before, I've always been a very strong proponent of the Ethereum ecosystem. It's the main technology that I focus on this channel. And the Ethereum ecosystem, in my opinion, just got stronger in the wake of everything that just happened, okay? So the values of the Ethereum ecosystem and using blockchains in DeFi just got better in the sense of two core values. One is decentralization, the other is transparency, okay? So, when cryptocurrency exchanges, centralized cryptocurrency exchanges blow up like this because they didn't really have everybody's money that they said they had, that makes the value proposition number one of self-custody about holding your own coins, okay, not your keys, not your crypto, way better, which increases the value proposition of DEXs and all of decentralized finance or DeFi, and also increases the value proposition of transparency. So let's say that, you have an exchange that's holding customer funds or you have DeFi. If you have complete transparency into that situation to audit it on chain and see that they actually have all the money that they claim to have in reserves, then that takes a huge part of the trust out of the equation, which increases the value proposition of chains like Ethereum and DeFi. And I expect this to be even stronger going forward in light of recent events. And another big thing is that the Ethereum ecosystem itself has also grown stronger throughout this incident relative to other ecosystems in the crypto space. So, throughout 2021, we saw all these crazy wars between alternative layer one blockchains like Solana and Ethereum, Avalanche and others. Solana in particular was really hyped up by FTX. And ever since this blow up happened, really that ecosystem has gotten a lot weaker relative to Ethereum. And I've always said that, investing in your own skills, which is one of the hardest things to change, when you're doing that, you want to pick something to become an expert in that has a way better risk reward scenario. So Ethereum has a very large developer community. It's the largest smart contract development platform by a long shot. And in light of recent events, it's really secured its lead in that regard. Now, that being said, I'm still not totally writing off the Solana ecosystem. I'm not writing off other layer one technologies. I do think ecosystems like Solana can get their own organic community and grow from here. Like Ethereum basically did that in 2017, 2018. But if you're still not sure which technology to pick when you're getting started, it's still best to double down the one that has the strongest lead. And just for a second, going back to Ethereum, the actual asset itself, Ethereum underwent the merge just a couple months ago, and after it transitioned to proof of stake, ETH has become deflationary since that event took place, okay? And if you look on a website like ultrasound.money, you can watch what's happened to Ether supply over time. It grew slightly after the merge happened, but since then, it is actually less than it was since the merge took place. So, basically, ETH is now deflationary. And I think because of that, we're actually seeing a structural shift in the marketplace that's actually helping the Ether price not dump as hard as other cryptocurrencies. It's hard to say how much this is actually affecting the Ethereum price, but I do think it is a factor, in addition to other people seeing the long-term value proposition of everything I'm saying in this video in terms of DeFi, Ether being a really favorable risk-reward bet in terms of a long-term investment. Again, not investment advice, I'm telling you to buy it, but I do think all these things are playing itself out in the price. All right, so now let's talk about the crypto industry or the job markets in this case, because there's always people who either just started their Web 3.0 journey in their career, or they're trying to break into the Web 3.0 industry and they're wondering, is now still a good time to become a Web 3.0 developer or stay a Web 3.0 developer? So I want to give you some really honest feedback on this based upon my own personal experience as a Web 3.0 developer myself who's been through bear markets and has still helped a lot of other people get in this space and is still actively helping people do this on a very high-touch basis, okay? So my short answer to this is basically, the aggregate opportunity for you as a blockchain developer hasn't materially changed, okay? So I'll explain that with some nuance here. So really, the space it's not as white hot as it was, 1 year ago, okay? Back in the crazy frenzy of the bull market, devs were just flying off the shelf, et cetera, name your price, you're hired, okay? So that dynamic isn't quite there, but there's still a really good opportunity over the long term to earn income, and you still have lots of opportunity, even if things, change in the coming years. So let's explain that. So number one is think about all the people who have the exact same fear as you, okay? So if you're worried about, your job security in the Web 3.0 industry, think about all the other people who are not going to start for that simple reason or going to leave the space for that simple reason. So the competition greatly is reduced based on that, okay? So you kind of think opposite in that regard. And the other thing about it is you have to think about the long term and even a few years down the road, okay? Because what you really want to do is be ahead of a massive wave that is most likely coming, okay? I did this, all right? Again, I got into space in 2017. I was working throughout 2018, 2019. People were still looking for blockchain developers, and the space was honestly worse back then. It was so quiet, so small. People were wondering if crypto was going away. But I, doubled down. I started my YouTube channel in 2018. I watched DeFi really birth from nothing. And when the space started really ripping and roaring a year or two down the road, I was ahead of that wave, okay, and I rode it all the way up. And if you do the exact same thing, then it's going to be impossible for other people who are jumping in at that point with the herd to catch up with you. And so now is a crazy opportunity to get in this space while it's quiet. If you're trying to work at a blockchain company, they're going to know that you're serious for the long term, okay? Not chasing a short-term opportunity. You can get involved and actually get real-world industry experience and build that resume and talk to quality people who aren't short-term opportunists and develop a robust technical skill set with way less competition. And right now, you have the gift of time to do that. Now, the other thing I'll say, because people worry about like crypto companies going under when all this stuff happens. So there are going to be losers in this situation. But back what I said a minute ago, the aggregate opportunity for you as a developer has not materially changed, okay? Could you potentially get involved with a company that goes under? That can happen, okay? But every time I see somebody like, hey, I got laid off on Twitter, I mean, it's sad. I don't want to minimize that at all. But almost every time I see that, there's instantly like 10 replies in those tweet threads that are like, hey, sorry this happened to you. We're hiring, like, let's talk. And the exact same thing can happen to you, especially if you get in the industry now, get some experience while the space is quiet. Having that experience is what's going to give you a massive leg up at writing your ticket to do really whatever you want to do long term. All right, so that's an overview of my thoughts on the current state of the entire crypto space, from the markets to the technology to the industry, and the job opportunities, okay? I know this is a time where it really feels like it's over, okay? But this is a good time to probably tune out the noise from what everyone else is saying. Again, think just 1 year ago today, that's when everybody thought, we were just going to double, triple, quadruple up to the moon, right? But that was the exact opposite of what happened. So, the same consensus of the herd is probably not what's true right now if you're going to use that as a counter indicator. And in my opinion, if you're playing long-term games, right now is a bit of a bright spot because there's upside. There's clear upside ahead of us if you're willing to put in the time and the dedication to really getting what's truly valuable and truly rewarding over the long term. So that's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And if you are totally bought in and really want to double down and do exactly what I'm talking about, invest in yourself, actually get that life-changing result in crypto by increasing your income, okay? What can you do? How can you take action today after watching this video? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find those free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those videos, you went to the next step, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step by step start to finish. Land your first blockchain job, increase your income past 100K over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. All right. You don't have to be an expert to get started right now. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.